Welcome to episode 145 of the Campus Comics Cast, and we are happy to report that none of us were laid off from Twitter this week. Of course, none of us were working at Twitter either, but I don't know, did either of you get your account suspended because you changed your name to Elon Musk?
No, and I'm not going
But
to
I saw a lot of people doing that. I don't even get on there often, and I saw that.
I don't think I'll get the blue check either, because I just don't, even though I just now started using Twitter more. I've just actually become a little bit more active, and then to come up with this $8 a month subscription to get the verified check.
Well, you can get verified as yourself. So if I were to get the blue check on Twitter, I would be Scott Reed on Twitter. And who would you be?
I'd be Mike Atchison.
And I'd be Shad Schubert.
So there you go. We're as blue as we're going to get right now, because we're not going to talk about Twitter any longer. We're going to talk about DC Comics. So this month we're into the previews catalog for November for items generally shipping in January. And of course, we're the podcast for Muddy Monster Comics, located at 1422 Walnut Street in Murfreesboro, Illinois. So you guys have anything to add before we jump into DC?
I don't think so.
Think so. All right. Well, I guess page 1 is a good place to start, right? Batman issue 131. We have Chip Zdarsky starting his second arc on the Batman book, and he has a new artist, Mike Hawthorne. Why does that name sound familiar to me?
I went to school with a Mike Hawthorne.
Yeah, it does sound familiar, but it must be something in Indy. I don't think he's ever done any DC work.
Looks like Deadpool, Wonder Woman.
Okay, I just felt like it's something I should know, but I guess not. You know what? I think I maybe was confusing the name with, is it Underwood that's doing Human Target? Who's doing Human Target?
Oh, it's Greg Smallwood.
Smallwood. Okay, Smallwood. Maybe I was getting the name confused.
Could be.
So yeah. So, I don't know. Anything else to add for Batman?
No, I'm just glad that after that last month's solicitation for Batman 130, I thought it was like, it was just the way they worded it, that it was wrapping up, or it said Chip Zdarsky's fantastic run, blah, 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 wrapping up. And I'm thinking, please don't be all there is. And it's not.
Right.
So
they must have been alluding to the team. It was the team of him and Jorge Fornes wrapping up together or something.
Yeah.
Well, I thought they were just wrapping up the first arc, is what I think I kind of had settled on. So. All right, well, page 2, we have Lazarus Planet Alpha #1. Now, I read this description. Following the explosive, literally, events of Batman vs. Robin #4, the Lazarus volcano has erupted, spewing dangerous and transformative chemicals into Earth's atmosphere. Has anybody at DC read Earth X? Because this is basically kind of like the premise for Earth X.
Oh.
It's the Terrigen mists that basically give everybody on the planet superpowers.
Actually, this is Mark Waid written, and what this harkens to is when he did Underworld Unleashed, there was a demon, which there's a demon in this story named Neron, that granted villains and heroes alike enhanced powers for their soul. And Wade has a penchant for doing stories like this. So I didn't know this was the sort of the basic plot of this until you just read it, but I'm telling you, and then knowing that this is Mark Waid, this is right up his alley. You're going to have a bunch of newly powered characters, for good or for ill, but it's right along those lines of what he did with Underworld Unleashed.
All right. So it looks like there's starting the next big event. Lots and lots of pages of Lazarus Planet leading into the next few things. Anybody want to talk about anything on these next few pages?
Well, it's just I'm thankful that it's not a multi-month crossover. It's just 4 one-shots, so it's going to be a pretty compact story.
Are you sure?
I thought I noticed on Diamond on the pull box that they were all one shots, or maybe it was on DCBS. I was looking.
Well, because DC's been doing a lot of those one shots that tie in with the main storyline. I mean, look at Dark Crisis. Dark Crisis had tons of one shots
right.
in addition to the Dark Crisis story. So I don't know that we won't see more Lazarus Planet next month.
Well, we could, but they all listed as one shots. I mean, this story drives out of World's Finest, which led into the Batman versus Robin, which now leads into this. So maybe it is like it's title jumping.
It'll be 2 months worth of one shot. So there's an alpha, and then there's the other 3 issues this month, and then in next month's catalog we'll see 2 other one shots and then an Omega. So it'll be a total of 7 books.
Well, then there's also Monkey Prince number 10, which apparently is at least a loose tie-in story. So
that's a Batman versus Robin tie-in, though. That's different than Lazarus Planet.
Oh, okay. My bad. My next thing is on page 16. So whatever you guys have till page 16.
I've got 12. On 12, we've got the start of season 3 of the Batman: The Adventures Continue, which is the Batman animated series that they've been doing. And I guess this will be their final season that they're calling for this. It's going to be 7 issues, and if nothing else, this has been a cool run of stories to just, if you're a fan of the original animated series, the same writers, creative team is connected to it, and you get to see some of the characters that we didn't actually get to see in the cartoon show up in the comics. So I'm sure we'll get a couple more of those throughout the season 3 of that.
We've read all of season 1 for the podcast, but I did not read any of season 2.
I've got all of season 2 in single issues and didn't touch a single one of them.
That's something I probably should go back and read, because I did it
in
season 1. So.
Now, isn't the writer from St. Louis, Alan Burnett?
I don't know.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Someone with a name similar to that, but I don't have time to research.
Well, you're not thinking about Rick Burchett, are you?
I might be thinking of Rick Burchett.
Yes.
I bet.
Yeah, he's from St. Louis.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We both had our one mistake. Mike, Shad, you're the one left that's allowed to make a mistake in this.
I'll do it. Yeah. No problem.
All right. Because I said I'm on 16, so whatever you guys have till 16.
I got 20 is my next one.
Okay. So, Mike, do you want to talk about 16?
I can.
Well, I mean, the only thing is like Action is going to become the Super Family book. So instead of having a Bat Family book, now we're going to have a Super Family book. So they're basically taking Action, and it's going to have 3 stories in each issue for at least a little while. So it's going to be the Superman family.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Too. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's right up my alley. I mean, you got. Well, this is okay. So in one way, it does kind of appeal to me. You've got Superman, let's just call him Superman Prime. He's Kal-El. He's the OG Superman, but his family literally has expanded to what's just on the cover, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 additional superpowered people. And if they don't have some differences in powers, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed, because you kind of take the specialness away from Superman when you've got, and I don't even know how, I mean, I get his son Jonathan is the one there on the right, and that's Kara, Supergirl, with a whole new look.
They're all getting new costumes except for Superman, and of course you have the '90s Superboy there on the.
So who's okay? So you got 2 Superboys, it looks like, other than one is Connor Kent, the clone that's half
Luthor and
half Superman. Who's the one on the right? I know that's the Chinese The Superman.
Oh yeah, the new Superman. Yeah.
Yes, new Superman. And you've got Steele's daughter, Natasha, who she's a great character. She was in that Warworld arc. And then I have no idea if either that's Lois Lane that's got superpowers and a younger kid. Don't know. But
is that like a younger version of Jonathan Kent? Are they gonna have a young John Kent and an older John Kent?
well, I'd be happy if they just had the young John Kent. I didn't like when Dan Jurgens aged him from age like 8 to 15 overnight.
I'm gonna say I don't care for the costumes that much myself. So
no, I'm not overwhelmed by this either. I'll get a couple issues. I was getting action anyway. So
the next page has the characters broken down and it has their names written down on who they are. So they're the twins. I don't know who the twins are.
Who's twins?
Well, you've got John. It looks like he's got blue lightning Superman powers.
Electric Superman.
Or electric Superman, yeah. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll just have to see.
Yep. Wait and see. All right. My next thing's on 21. I know somebody said they had something on page 20. So.
Oh yeah, on 20 is DC Power: A Celebration, which is a celebration of Black History Month with all of the DC characters that are fall under that category, obviously. So we're gonna get some anthology stories for Cyborg, John Stewart, Aqualad, Kid Flash, Batwing, Vixen, Amazing Man, and more. I always like these anthologies because as someone who it doesn't have a vast knowledge, reading some little stories to introduce myself to some of these characters is cool. So
104 pages. This one up. A big one.
That is a big one.
That's a lot of content. So.
Any new characters in that? I'm looking.
I didn't see any new characters listed. So, yeah, I don't see any new characters.
And everybody on the cover looks familiar.
Yeah. You got the new Batman, John Ridley's Batman, which I'm a little frustrated that they really don't. I mean, John Ridley's still writing that book, and it's in the back of the catalog. Barely, it's got the postage stamp solicitation, and I was enjoying that quite a bit. But it's like almost all of the attention just got turned back away from it.
Page 21, we have Flash 791. So the 1 minute war is now going to span at least 2 months. So, and they're going to get two books here in January. You're going to have Flash 791 and then a Flash 1 minute war special. So, so I guess it can take 2 months to cover what happens in 60 seconds here inside Flash 790. So maybe 790 is on the first 20 seconds of the 60-second war.
That's right.
I don't know, but I am still interested in that idea. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it does look appealing. Flash 123 is on the same page, the facsimile edition. I know I have either, the Silver Age or Millennium edition or something, but it's not a full facsimile. So, as I have been doing, I'll purchase this as well.
I just got a comment on page 25.
On 22, it's issue 2 for Danger Street, but the more I see this, the more I am getting intrigued about what is going to be happening in this book. I was just kind of on the outside of it originally, but now I'm kind of going, okay, I'm curious what this is going to be like. I'm definitely going to try to read it, probably not as it comes out, but I'll be delayed a little bit.
Yeah, some of the characters I'm super interested in what they're going to do with, and some of them I have like zero desire to read about. It's like I have zero desire to read about the Green Team.
Yeah.
Am I interested with what's happening with like Warlord and Manhunter and even Lady Cop? Yeah, but Green Team, no. So it's going to be tough to see how that gels together.
Right.
A lot of Tom King stuff, it seems to read better as a collection, so I'm getting the single issues, but I may wait until the end to go ahead and read it.
Or maybe read the first 6 books together and then.
We could do that, yeah.
Or no, we don't have to necessarily read it for the podcast.
There's
but we will. We will.
It's not in our bylaws that we are required.
It's in our contract.
Yeah. Anything else for 25?
No.
Okay, I just want to see if you are aware of of the fact that the Dead Boy detectives show up in season 3 of Doom Patrol on HBO Max.
I heard this, and I remember that they were being cast, but I never made it past episode 1 of Doom Patrol.
Okay,
so
well, they show up for one episode, so you at least probably need to go and find the one episode. It's later in the season. It's
okay.
Like, so, and you could probably,
and I can just show up and drop in on it. You think like it's
probably because you're watching more for those characters, those characters, so
right? Absolutely.
Yeah, so it probably wouldn't be too big of a loss. So it actually was interesting. I'm half tempted to like go back and research these guys a little bit, and maybe try to read some of their other stuff. So
yeah,
it didn't. I don't know, and maybe having not read the characters, maybe I'm not
made it cooler.
Yeah, they may be different than what they were portrayed in the show, but it seems like it would be pretty authentic. So anyway,
cool.
You'll have to tell me. So
I will. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I got on
DC, so yeah.
I got 26. This is just as a PSA. Swamp Thing Green Hell #1 second printing is going to be coming out in January, meaning that they're finally getting back on track with the story that they started to tell. December of last year is when the first issue came out originally. And then it's a 3 issue, and we didn't get issue 2 or 3 at all whatsoever. Come to find out that Doug Mankey had some like health personal issues that he needed to take off for, and so never got finished with 2 and 3. So he's back on track. So he and Jeff Lemire are going to get issue 2 and 3 out in February, and March will be their release date. So this will be a regular monthly. And so I guess they just decided to do a second printing on 1 to remind everybody that, hey, this is a book that came out.
So when they see 2, they aren't confused.
That's right. Yeah. And I'm done now.
Mike, you got anything else in DC you want to talk about?
No, I'm good.
Oh, wow. Okay. I was like skimming through, like trying to find something else to mention, but even like last issues or something like that, but I'm not really seeing anything.
I mean, it's getting close to the end of the Human Target run, issue 11. I haven't read anything past like 5 or 6 on that, so Fables, that 12-issue extension, is on the 9th of those 12 issues, so that's kind of winding down. I didn't realize it until this month when I looked at the Justice Society solicitation, but it's also just a 12-issue series. It's not an ongoing.
Well, they solicit those as ongoing until they decide they're not going to be ongoing.
Yeah, well, now they say it's just 12. They decided already without the first issue coming out that it's going to be
just 12.
12 issues, yeah.
I guess they're looking at the pre-order number.
Maybe.
Oh, nope. All right, 12 issues.
Yep.
All right, Marvel. All right, so I guess it's the cover of, first page of Marvel. I don't have a cover. So
is first page the Disney Avengers?
The Disney. Now this is unfortunately just a variant for.
It's
Amazing
so frustrating.
Spider-Man 17, right? I was thinking, we're going to get a what if of the Disney characters as Avengers, but no, it's a variant cover for Amazing Spider-Man 17.
I was so excited when I saw this because I was like, I want this now. Yeah. And so now they've teased me, and what's going to be the problem is they have, so this is the, I guess, Disney 100 years is what we're going into in 2023. So every month there's going to be a really cool Disney cover with the characters because they're going to do a variant cover once a month, and it's just going to be frustrating that they're not actual books that they're going to release every month.
So page 2, we've got, I guess the big story arc is Dark Web, going through all the Spider-Man books and some ancillary titles related to, or not even necessarily related to, Spider-Man. So I haven't read any of these, haven't been picking up Spider-Man, so not sure how interested I am in what's going on here. I don't know, either of you thinking about picking this up?
No.
All right. Page 7. Moving on. Avengers War Across Time, issue 1 of 5. Apparently, this is going to be Paul Levitt's first writing work at Marvel Comics. So, and you're gonna have art by Alan Davis, which he's no slouch. So,
Oh no,
basically, we got the original Avengers, fighting Hulk, kind of arc, going back to that original, first couple issues of the Avengers, but we're mixing Kang up into the story. So, yeah, a little bit of a time traveling with Paul Levitz and Alan Davis in the original Avengers.
yeah, I've got a mark to pick up. I mean, Paul Levitz, like a lot of writers, they might be over. He might be past his prime, but with Alan Davis art on top of it, I don't know how I could pass it up.
Yeah.
And it's original, or it's early or original Avengers. That's more my style as well.
Page 8, Scarlet Witch gets another solo title. Again, it's not solicited as a limited series, but I'm sure within a couple of months it will become a 2 or 3 of 6 or 12 or whatever the case may be.
The art looks great.
It does, yeah. Sarah Pacelli, she's pretty good. My next thing's not until page 76. So,
oh, buddy.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot here in Marvel that really jumped out at me. It's like a lot of continuing titles. I'm still picking up Captain America and some of those other books, but nothing new really jumping out at me.
On page.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I'm just gonna say 42.
Oh, I flagged 14. It's a Joe Fixit new miniseries for that. I was new to the Joe Fixit thing, so I was like, when we read Mortal Hulk, and so I guess Peter David created Joe Fixit, or at least named him as that, and so he's returning to the character for a thing that feels like, it's a Joe Fixit story, but it seems like it's in Vegas. And he's potentially going toe to toe with Kingpin, and Spider-Man is going to be some sort of middleman to kind of keep the peace between the two of them. So the story seemed kind of like it might be a cool story, but it's like, okay, is that a Spider-Man story? Is that seems out of place? But
no, that was whatever Joe Fixit showed up. That's where he was. He was a bouncer a grunt in Las Vegas. So.
Oh, okay.
And Peter David. As you mentioned, we're going to see a facsimile for his Joe Fixit's first appearance later in the catalog. So,
and that's all I've got.
Yeah, I'm on 76. So, Mike,
40. Just 42. It's just another facsimile edition, Incredible Hulk #1. This, is he man or monster, or is he both? Cover. He's a gray Hulk. And that's, at this point, I'm like, I'm pretty satisfied just getting a facsimile edition to be able to look at I'm not ever going to buy a lot of these key issues, if they're over a certain price. So, I see on the next page I didn't plan on speaking about, but it's got Wonder Man and the Beast. It's called Avengers 2, Wonder Man and Beast Marvel Tales #1. Written by Roger Stern and art by Mark Bagley, and I can only imagine Wonder Man's getting an appearance, due to his upcoming movie appearance or TV show appearance.
TV show. Going back a page, the same page as the Incredible Hulk facsimile edition. There's where that Incredible Hulk 347 which reprints the Joe Fixit, origin, first appearance, however you want to define that. So. 76, still 76 for me. So, did your copies of this have 3 blank pages randomly in the middle? Just out of curiosity, the digital edition goes 55 blank page, blank page, blank page, and then 56, 57. So, Marvel has trouble with their digital editions for some reason. No covers, blank pages.
Well, they're saving paper and ink.
Yeah, that's what it is. They can't afford to put a cover on these digital books. So, it's like a return in a way. They're already marked.
That's
return,
right.
So, page 76, we got a while back in the catalog, they had the beta edition of the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game. So now they are releasing the hardcover for the actual, official release Love the game. For anybody who's an RPG fan, you just need 3 6-sided dice, and you're good to go on that. And then this, I can't decide how I feel about this. Page 86. They have been doing the Marvel Masterworks for a long time now, according to this, for 330 volumes. All right, so now they are apparently starting over, and this time they're going to be the Marvel Remasterworks. So they're going to apparently recolor them and, include some extra material in these books. But I'm looking at the books, and I don't know how you're going to be able to tell the difference from the Masterworks from the Remasterworks, because they only say Masterworks on the cover, but they're going back to Amazing Fantasy 15. The FF book I think is here. Yeah, and they don't say Remasterworks. So my question is how are we going to tell these apart? And it looks like they're soliciting way far out. I mean, some of these are, I was looking at some of the solicit dates. I thought they were here. Oh yeah, well, it's right there in red. So May 2023, July 2023, August 2023, June 2023. And then they're still soliciting the regular Marvel Masterworks as well. So if you were the type of person who is looking for, having a complete early Marvel collection, you can start now, Remasterworks, and then just build towards them. And if you're talking about one hardback book a month, but we know there's at least 330 something of these, so you're going to be locked in for, let's see, 12 books a year, the next almost 30 years. So, if you're a completist, you might be setting yourself up for failure. So,
is that Remasterworks something new, the way they're wording that?
Brand new. They're starting over, and they're recoloring apparently, and adding in notes and comments and maybe original art.
I know one of those hardcovers I bought from Dennis through Mike was a Remasterworks, and I had a heck of a time trying to put it into CLZ.
No, it wasn't a Remasterworks because these are brand new. It was a Masterworks. Marvel Masterworks is what you bought. Okay,
keep talking.
Right.
Stand by.
All right. So he's gonna go.
Stand by.
Am I gonna be wrong twice in one episode? Which is
I don't know, because it seems as though this is new.
Wrong? This is brand new because because they're soliciting these and making a big deal about this here in this catalog, because they're still doing the Marvel Masterworks. If you look at page, what page is that? 88. They have the Avengers Volume 23.
You're right. It's not Masterworks. It's Marvel Comics Represents the first ever. It's Marvel Comics #1.
Could you say that again?
Oh, okay.
Could you say that first part again?
Shad said you were right. I'm not sure you are.
Okay,
Shad Shad's easy to get along with. He just said, I'm trying to
shout you're right.
Yeah. Mike says you're right. If this was negotiations, Shad would be the mediator.
That's right.
No, you're right. All right, moving on.
All right, moving on. That's okay. I think that's everything I have here out of Marvel as well. So.
Me too, and I don't like not having much, but I don't. Marvel and DC was like zilch.
Of course, do you want to go? I mean, we really don't want to go in and talk about the stuff that we're like I said, I'm still buying Captain America and Shang-Chi.
No, yeah, right. Yeah.
Other books, but do we want to say that every single month? Oh, I'm picking up.
Say the same thing every month? Yeah. No. And by the way, that's that whole Lazarus Lazarus planet. It's called the Devil Nezha, that looks like Trigon.
Really?
And while we were talking, I was trying to figure out if he's meant to look like Trigon, and maybe there's going to be a surprise at the end. Now that you mentioned Raven has sisters, I mean, this could be like, I don't know. I just got this feeling there might be something like that, because it's especially that cover to Alpha 1 or whatever that's called. That looks like way too much like Trigon.
Yeah.
So we on the big book?
We are on the big book. Okay, so like we talked about before, I do not have a physical or digital copy of this, so I am just using the Previews World pull box to go through this. So we're gonna have to kind of break it down by like publisher or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We get to guess what page you're on, and then we'll go find it, and then we'll say what page you're on.
Okay, or that will work too. I do have written down the publisher names, So I think we'll not get too far out of order here.
Cool.
On some stuff.
But you're going alphabetical after that, right? Like you're in publisher and then it's alphabetical.
Yeah, but I can bounce back and forth between the publishers.
I sent you that website that illegally republished reviews.
Somebody wanted to move this episode up a day, so my plan was to go through the catalog.
Touche, yes.
So I had to scramble to get in my comments. So.
All right.
Just another gig.
You got me. Punches have been thrown.
Throwing hands. So. All right. Image. Of course.
Image.
I guess we do want to remind everybody, get your catalog orders in, preferably by the 18th of each month. So as we record this, we're recording this on the 7th. So hopefully you'll have enough time, having seen this, to get in your orders and get those submitted. So Image Comics, I'll throw out Black Cloak.
Hey, that's the first one.
Okay, I kind of.
It's on page 34.
Page 34. Thank you very much. So we have Black Cloak here, written by Kelly Thompson. I guess this is her first work at Image Comics. So they mentioned Blade Runner in the solicit. That's about all that it took for me. I did kind of look at some of the preview art, and it, they almost lost me with the Saga-esque drama. So I'm not a big Saga fan. So, but Blade Runner will keep me in. I'm definitely going to give this a shot. Plus, I just like my science fiction. So
that's right.
I was all in on page 35 when they were describing the last city in the world, the city of Kyros. But then I seen the art in the later pages, and I'm like, I just don't know if I can. That just looks too cartoonish, simplistic to me, and not in the way that I know sometimes that can be good. But I'm not, I'm more of a traditionalist when it comes to art. So it doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It might make the story great.
Right. But it's going to definitely make it unique. So
yeah.
Now if the interior art were like the cover art, man, the cover art is really, really cool with this, negative space color and all that stuff. It's
What do you think, Shad? You're the good art
Well, I enjoy. I like the bold lines. I'm a bold line. It's really easy to grab me when it comes to the kind of more indie style art when it's these thick lines like that. So I was in on that. I really like. I'm with you. I like this first page of just kind of explaining everything. The big kind of mountainous image we have there. I did. So this actually came out on Substack as an exclusive first. And this is its first time in print. And I got chapter 1 of this, which is like the first 18 pages. And I read through it last night because I knew we were going to talk about it a little bit. And I was underwhelmed with the story itself. It wasn't carrying me through a lot. Now, this is a triple length first issue. So it's like it's 56 pages for $5.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more to it than what I had with my first 18 pages of it. But yeah, I was just a little bit underwhelmed with the kind of delivery of it. The artwork I didn't fall into as much as the story itself wasn't quite doing it for me as much as I wanted it to. But I like the concept.
And it's the B cover. I'm looking at this, and it's the B cover that I think is the really, really cool cover. I just realized, not the A cover. The B cover is the one that
the white one.
Yeah, DeCall is the artist on the B cover, Jeff DeCall. So yeah, super cool, very sci-fi looking cover on that one. So it's definitely. If I order this, and I probably will, I will definitely be ordering cover B for this one. So. Anybody want to talk about Immortal Sergeant besides me?
You can go ahead.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to send. I don't know what page it's on, but Immortal Sergeant's 8-issue series.
38.
And this is going to be for the Joe Kelly Deadpool fans. Is all I can say. That's not for me, but I know that there are people out there who are big Joe Kelly fans, like a little bit of the irreverent humor. So 8 issues. I figure you got to try it.
Yeah, it's I never read I Kill Giants, but I've heard good things about that, and I guess this is the team who did that as well. But the kind of the retire or on his way out detective who catches a break on the case that he's been trying to solve for decades kind of a thought was cool. And then I'm not sure about the being stuck with his son. Like I think there's definitely some comedy to it, but it's like, well, why is he stuck with his son? I guess that's why you have to read it. You have to find out. But
exactly, that's what they stick you with.
It wasn't enough. It's not enough to pull me in though. It's like I need more. And I'm not a giant black and white comic guy, so I don't know if I'll pick this one up.
I don't plan on picking it up, but I thought it was with the Joe Kelly. I thought it should be mentioned. So.
Joe Kelly. I remember reading some of the Justice League issues. I guess it's the same Joe Kelly. I haven't read anything by him in 15 years probably, but in the mid 2000s he had a good run in Justice League, as well as this little spin-off series called Justice League Elite with Doug Mahnke. And so that alone,
Manchester Black.
Yeah, Manchester Black was first brought in there. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Okay, also from Image, I will mention that we're getting another Spawn book. This one's just a 2-issue book. It's Spawn Unwanted Violence. Not anything by McFarlane on this one, so just a new 2-issue series just to expand on the Spawn universe. So fans of Spawn should pick that up. And one last thing is lots of Invincible stuff. Mostly like all of the trades are being made available this time, but you have the facsimile edition of Invincible #1. If you don't already own that book, you're probably not going to get it particularly cheap unless, I guess they have the Image First, which are also solicited this month for Invincible #1. But the other one that caught my eye was that there's an Undeluxe edition, which I take it to mean it is. I'm trying to find it here on the page.
Just black and white.
Yeah, but it's black and white, so it's almost like an artist edition type.
Yeah,
it could be kind of cool, but I might do a search here. So Undeluxe, where are you? There you are. The Invincible Undeluxe. Found it
on page 53. If the listeners wanted to know.
What do they say here? Prepare yourself. Yeah, in stunning black and white.
Mm-hmm. So they're doing the Undeluxe being the play on, I guess, the deluxe versions of Walking Dead that they're doing with color.
There you go.
That's what it's just it's
a Kirkman thing.
It's a Kirkman double dip kind of a thing that, I mean, it's cool for Walking Dead, but I don't know if the Undeluxe will catch on.
No. I'm sure that's only going to be the first issue. I don't.
You don't think they're going to do the full run like they're doing Walking Dead?
No. There's no way.
I bet they'll try.
Well, I guess if they can sell enough copies, I guess they will. So yeah, I guess if they order 100,000 of this Undeluxe #1, then you will definitely see a #2. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The only other thing I've gotten images on 46 is Inferno Girl Red Book 1 Issue 1. Which is Inferno Girl Red was introduced in the Massive Verse in the book called Supermassive back in February of this year, and was actually a Kickstarter book from March of 2021. So it's been around for quite some time, and we knew that we'd eventually get a print in the Image would publish it at some point in time, and now that some point in time has happened. So this is just another book in the Massive Verse, which I don't know how many more they can really add to it before they get diminishing returns on it, I think.
Before it becomes too massive?
That's right, yes.
What page was that on, Chad?
That was on 46.
Okay.
You guys, what else do you guys have in Image? Anything? Oh, yeah.
My first thing's 56, the Nemesis Reloaded. I know this is, by the way I'm reading, this must be a character or a concept that's been around previously, yes. Right? Mm-hmm. But I've never seen it before, and it reminds me of the Mark Waid, Barry Kitson Empire series with the lead character is basically a villain who really only uses his powers to terrorize people. So it looks pretty cool. Did you guys ever see Empire or read Empire?
I don't think so.
No. What was it like? Uncorruptible? Oh, what was?
Yeah, there was a couple different. I mean, it was first put out by like DC or Vertigo or something, but it was creator owned. It was Wade creator owned, and then it went to another publisher.
Okay. Incorruptible. I can't remember.
Incorruptible sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There were a couple of different, like there were of the same kind of word, like an in something, and there were like 3 different ones for like 3 different sections of the story, I think.
Very Doctor Doomish type character. And on 62 is my next.
I'm out of Image.
Go ahead, you're good.
You guys have an Image.
I just want to mention the public domain, the 5-issue run by Chip Zdarsky is now collected in its in a trade paperback. So it's one of those things. I liked it enough. I might just go ahead and get it in a trade as well and put it on the shelf.
Scott, you're missing out not having the full book. Image has this whole new layout for their pages, and they're like full color pages where they have like the cover of the book is the entire background of the page. So there's like not a lick of white anywhere.
And I read there's a bunch of first appearances in this previews catalog, so the catalog will be worth millions.
It's worth a lot, yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm all right now. I'm out of Image.
Okay, we into Boom?
Yes.
All right. So Mosley #1. This is a 5-issue series, and the basic premise is that you have a custodian who works for these various tech giants, and he basically has decided that it is time to get revenge on all of the tech gods. So basically read this as the custodian is out to take down Google and Facebook / Meta and Apple. And he's going to do that with his janitorial knowledge and skills. So just the IT potential tie-in for this has me. It's definitely going to be satire, but I think I'm going to have to give this a shot from Boom. And it's only 5 issues, so.
It makes you wonder if there's a little satire to it, because you've got a black man with a hammer, and you think, well, that's been done before with John Henry Irons, and then more recently with Black Hammer and Dark Horse.
And Steel in DC.
Well, that's what's John Henry Irons is Steel,
yeah. I'm sorry. I was going back to the actual fable.
Like John Henry, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's it. John Henry, yeah. So it's like, boy, they're really wearing this one out, but maybe it'll be a good story.
Yeah, maybe. So I'm going to give it a shot. So that is for sure. So.
Okay.
That's the only thing I have from Boom. I don't know if you guys got anything else from Boom.
That's all I've got to.
I want to mention on page 102, The Many Deaths of Layla Starr. I've heard about this so many times, don't know the first thing about it. It's won awards, I think, been critically reviewed, or got great critical reviews, and it's coming out with this is a deluxe edition hardcover. I don't know if either one of you guys have read it, but it might be.
I have issue 1, but I've never read it.
Is that right? Okay. I mean, everything I've ever heard on podcast or read online, it just Ram V is the writer, and they just completely laud it. So I earmarked it just for that reason. I'm not sure if I'll get it or if I'll read it online, but if I like it enough, I might get the hard copy. So I'm up to Dark Horse then.
I've been going first, everyone. Why don't you guys go first? Just don't steal my book that I want to talk about.
Matt Kent's your guy, right?
He's
Scott?
my guy. Yeah, he's one of
120, page 120.
Spy Superb.
Spy Superb. Yeah, is that something you were going to mention?
Absolutely.
I'll let you talk about it.
Okay.
Then.
All right. So this is the next book. So we had the Mind Management bootleg first, right, and now we have our second title from Flux House, which is Spy Superb. This is going to be one of those humor spy books. So we basically have, I guess they're kind of describing it as somebody who isn't a spy, but thinks they're a spy, and then ends up on a spy mission and has Russians out to get him. So he's got the little pencil mustache. He looks like a goofball on the cover. And it's his wife that is doing the coloring and on this particular book, if I remember correctly.
Charlene Kent,
yes.
Yeah.
So I think she's doing the coloring. They don't have her listed in the actual credits. She's on the cover of the book. So
yeah, it's got a little C next to her, so I'm assuming that means colorist.
yeah. So he's they've worked together on some stuff in the past. So, but now you got the husband wife team, the Spy Superb. I will definitely be picking this one up.
I love the description that he's the useful idiot. I mean, the character in here, he's the spy who doesn't even realize he's a spy.
Yep.
I can relate.
That's all I have.
I got on page 124 is Stranger Things: The Many Ghosts of Dr. Brenner. This is another mini series from Stranger Things, getting some history on our Dr. Brenner, our papa. So this might be cool. I mean, the guy is kind of built around being a mystery throughout the whole series. So getting a little bit of backstory might be a cool thing. It's definitely worthy of a comic book miniseries, I would think. So we'll see.
Okay, is IDW next or is Dynamite next?
I think Dynamite's next. Yes, Dynamite.
Yeah, Dynamite.
All right. I do
Darkwing Duck.
Yeah, there you go. You go ahead. So
on 158 and 159, I'm assuming that Dynamite has now acquired the license for probably all of the Disney Afternoon characters, like the cartoon run of that would be my guess, since they all kind of seem to come in a package generally. And so we are now getting Darkwing Duck issue 1 along with our Gargoyles number 2 this month. And so it's kind of the same thing. They've got a bunch of awesome variant covers that they're doing for it. They've got
covers. 10 covers.
Yes. And they're picking up the story where it left off. Same character. They're not doing anything different. It's just more of the same. Makes me wonder, like, I'm curious if we're going to end up with more standalone issue. Like, are we going to get a Tailspin? Are we going to get a Rescue Rangers? Are we going to get DuckTales through this? Or, what I would like to see, what they used to do, when I was a kid, is you'd get like the little Disney Afternoon book or the comic that had like, it was an anthology, and some of them are ongoing. Each month you'd have a little 7-page story of something, and then sometimes you'd have a little just one shot in there, and then you got all your characters living together. So I don't know. I guess it'll depend on how well these books do. But I'm digging it. I'm not as big of a Darkwing fan as I'm a Gargoyles fan, but I'm definitely picking this up.
I know a lot of people have fond memories of Darkwing Duck, so
yes.
I think that's all I have from the front of the book, the bigger publishers.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I got stuff from the small publishers in the back, but from the bigger publishers, that's all I got. So
I've got something in Aftershock on page 218. Where are you at, Shad?
Well, I was going to talk about real quick. I don't even know if I don't know if it's good or not, but it caught my eye because you don't see a lot of Green Hornet things. It's like on 180 in Dynamite is Green Hornet, One Night in Bangkok one shot. But I was like, oh, you don't see. I mean, every once in a while they'll use their Green Hornet license, but it's not consistently. And I kind of like that character, so it's a one shot. Not a lot of risk in there on that one.
Yeah.
And then I'm not till 236.
All right. Earmark this page, or virtually earmark it if you're Scott and you're on digital. Yeah. Page 218, Astronaut Down, trade paperback. I've been picking up the original issues. It's a 5-issue mini-series by James Patrick and art by Rubin. And it's one of the best science fiction stories I've read in a while. And it might even be something we want to read as a group sometime and talk about it, because it's really kind of a unique premise. I don't want to really say too much because let's just say that he's not an astronaut in the traditional sense. And it's pretty cool. Very compelling. I reckon if you haven't been picking up the issues, either buy this trade, pick up the back issues, read it on digital, whatever, but it's awesome.
I have the first issue. I have not picked up anything past the first issue.
Well, we can talk later about whether we want to maybe read this sometime.
I would be definitely open for that. Cool. You guys done with the bigger publishers in the front? You got anything else?
No, I think I got some.
We're alphabetically publishing now.
I'm in a blaze now.
Okay, so I'm at Bands of Bards. So whenever we get to the B's, let me.
Okay.
Shad, you said 236, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm flipping to it.
You're looking the same thing I am, I bet. I'll let you talk about it. Yes.
Yeah, this Black Sun on page 236. It looks really like I had to read the kind of concept behind it a couple of times because I was like, okay, or Children of the Black Sun. I keep just calling it Black Sun, but there's a longer title in it. And this is a horror book, and it's kind of takes place 12 years after this event happened where when the sun rose, it was a black sun instead of a regular yellow sun. And it made people kind of go nuts, and all the children that were born that day have all grown up to have like white hair, ashy skin, abnormal proportions, eyes that are red, and so they're known as the children of the Black Sun. And so it's 12 years later, and there's all this fear in this town of when could this happen again? We don't know when a black sun will happen ever again. And so these kids are just kind of treated poorly because they're just this abomination that from this horrible event that happened. And they go out into the woods and go on this journey to kind of find themselves and who they are. And it just seems like a really neat concept.
Yeah, even with the character or the creators are sort of no names to me. The concept looks fantastic, and I can't stop singing the Soundgarden song every time I see that title, Black Hole Sun.
Yeah.
It looks good, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm up to, this is AWA 276.
I'm in the B's on the publishers, so.
Okay, and I'm not Fantagraphics, so we're good. Go ahead.
Okay, this is a Trojan. I'm catching up with why I flagged it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Far Sector, the Green Lantern miniseries with Joe Moline. And basically, I'll do what I do when I can't remember what a book is about. I'll just read what it says on a page here. Once upon a time, we lived alongside legends, creatures of myth, centaurs, fauns, gorgons, kelpies, gnomes, and more. They were spectacular, majestic, powerful, peaceful, pure. In comparison, we were ugly. Oh my gosh, this is pretty repetitive. But anyway, after driving these legends, after driving these legends to the fringes of societies, an uglier form of mythos takes shape in the form of rumors of live snuff schnoes and a dark web high rollers. 4 dark web high rollers. Anyway, you got a protagonist named Nessa, and she enlists the help of a hacker to take a tour of the grisliest corners of the dark web, and she sets in motion a war between those who peddle mankind's darkest fantasies in a world that transcends imagination. It's a fantasy thriller full of wonder and horror. Yeah, so the art looks really good too. It looks like art that I like, and it just seemed pretty. It really caught my attention.
I actually had that flag too. I just had it I had it in the incorrect order, so it showed up too. Yeah, because the whole dark web tie-in to me was what interested me particularly about that.
Yeah.
Think Spider-Man will show up?
Probably not. So
maybe different dark web.
Yeah, different dark web. So
gotcha.
I'm definitely gonna pick that one up too. So.
You say your Band of Bards?
Yeah, Bands of Bards is the publisher. The book.
It's 280.
280. Okay, so it's Coins of Judas. So basically, the premise, it's a 2-issue, so it's not a big commitment. But basically, the premise is that the 30 silver coins that paid off Judas, right, are basically these cursed items. There's this family that has to basically protect those from falling into demonic hands. So, and then one of the protectors dies. So it's like what happens after these events with the loss of the coins and stuff. So yeah, absolutely something that I find pretty intriguing. So that is, I'm going to be picking that up again. 2 issues, so it's not like it's a huge commitment. And then maybe this writer artist pair can impress me. I'll keep an eye out for them for stuff in the future. But from Band of Bards.
Cool. Yeah.
So my next thing's at Fair Square Comics. So let's get to the F's.
Right before me. So
Okay.
I'm good on this side still.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and if you guys want to back up, that's fine. So we have Beyondtopia, Beyondtopia Legends. So what caught my eye is this is actually it's an anthology series talking about folklore reimagined. It's like I think it was uh, India. Okay, now I've lost where it said the country of origin or Indonesia, excuse me. Okay. Bi-monthly series together the best artists from Indonesia and the world, right? And it's basically being retold or reimagined for American audiences. So this is definitely some mythology that I am not at all familiar with. So I've always been a mythology fan, so I think I'm going to have to give this a shot. It's expensive at $12.99, but how many?
64.
64. Okay, so it's more than a triple size book. So I think that's probably a pretty reasonable price.
Sure.
So I think I'll give that a shot.
And that's on page 306 for anybody playing along at home.
Thank you.
And then my next one is in Fantagraphics on page 310. Is a collection called The Queer Visitors from the Marvelous Land of Oz, the complete comic strip saga from 1904 to 1905. I like The Wizard of Oz and all that stuff quite a bit, and this is a cool collection that is the newspaper strips from there was of the same name, and then there's also a collection called Scarecrow and the Tin Man that's collected in this. I don't know if I'm going to pick it up because it's $75, so it's kind of a pricey collection, but I definitely wanted to note it because the collections of old newspaper strips are always something neat to at least get a look at. The content's not always great when you're like story wise, but it's just really cool to look at that stuff.
I have found that L. Frank Baum fans are very discerning. They're very, finicky when it comes to the materials. So, and there have been a lot of poor, later, stuff from the 90s and 2000s that was just terrible. But this looks like, this is like from the original strips, and that would be really interesting to see how that came across.
Yeah.
I'm on 314, which is that that segment Scott usually points out for me.
Oh, the Tomorrow segment?
No, this is the creator you should know, Russ Heath.
Oh.
He was inducted into the Overstreet Hall of Fame in 2016. And I'm just going to read their. I really intended today, if I had time, to do a little digging and do some research on Russ Heath to kind of round this out. But let's just say that Russ is a mainstay in war books from the 60s forward. His art is featured on the cover of the 2016 comic book price guide. But he did everything from GI Combat to Star Spangled War Stories to All American Men of War. I can't even really tell you how many pages of work he's done, but it's way, way, way up there. And when you're kind of cut your teeth on superhero comics, you sort of don't really appreciate the art that comes across in the war stories. And I think it's because a lot of the stories were so formulaic and, they weren't really that interesting. There was no larger story arcs. It was a one and done deal all the time. It was just kind of repetitive, but the art is really what sold, I think, a lot of the war stories or the war comics. So Russ Heath, hats off to him. And I don't know that anything happened. He's a living legend, so that's a good thing. So anyway.
I don't have anything left that I think is on side 1. I got a couple of things on side 2. You guys can finish up side 1.
Okay.
Unless Mike forgot to talk about something from Tomorrow's, then I'll point out something from
Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet. I'm on 329. Where are you at, Shed?
327.
Okay.
All right. So this is just a monster sighting, kind of. From Humanoids, we are getting a Bela Lugosi, The Rise and Fall of Hollywood's Dracula, which is just a biography, a comic book biography of Bela Lugosi, who obviously is famously Dracula, as well as many other iconic roles in that world. So that's our monster spotting for the month.
I have a couple on side 2. I don't have anything on side 1. So it's that.
On page 329 from Hyperion Books, we have The Art of Coloring, Schoolhouse Rock.
Yes. I was hoping you were going to talk about that one.
Man. And actually, it's probably the Schoolhouse, right below it's the Schoolhouse Rock Updated Official Guide. I'm not really going to, didn't intend to talk about a coloring book, but Schoolhouse Rock, for anybody that was born between like 1970 and 1990, you knew about Schoolhouse Rock.
Schoolhouse Rock.
Yes, you learned what a conjunction was from conjunction junction. What's your function? You knew how the basic mechanics of legislation work from I'm just a bill, just a lonely old bill that started on Capitol Hill or whatever, you know.
Interplanet Janet, she's a galaxy girl.
Oh gosh, I'm telling you, that has more nostalgia for me than it's just about anything else in this book. So I'm going to get for sure this updated official guide to Schoolhouse Rock.
I mean, it's 112 pages, $18. It's just a little like 8x8 book. It's nothing crazy, and but it's got all the lyrics to all the songs. It's got trivia. It's got behind the scenes stuff. I was like, that's a cool little guide.
Oh, and I mean, that's how I learned the preamble to the United States Constitution. That's how I learned it. I mean, seriously.
It's awesome.
Okay. I'm good for 369 until 369.
I got 375. Go ahead.
Okay, why is this earmarked? Oh, I should have wrote it down, but thank good. Okay, only in a previews catalog, and they do this every month. You'll find an example of this. Only in a previews catalog will you find on one corner of the page a kid's book called Worm and the Caterpillar Are Friends. And on the other corner, you'll find a book called Fun Girl, the Vulva Viking. So, I mean, only here, folks.
Only here. I like that. That's why you flagged it.
I know. I was on the plane and I was probably said something out loud like, "What the hell?"
You're on the plane,
you could tell 375.
Are like, what is he looking at?
Yeah.
You get to all those anime statues and stuff. They're like,
oh, I know. I'm like, I'm doing quick so the guy next to me doesn't go, "Oh, you creepo."
Right. On 375 is a book called Nightwalkers. I don't know if I'm excited about this or not. I don't think I am, but we'll still talk about it. It is a book written by Cullen Bunn. It is about it's about an isolated area, a rehab center that doesn't have any. It's kind of shut off from the world, and hence isolated. I guess I've doubled up on words. And it gets what's the word? The bloodthirsty monsters come to the area. I'm assuming vampires. We can just call them. And so kind of a cool concept, but also one that's been done over and over and over again.
Night,
so
right? It sounds like
it's a 30 days of night. Exactly.
And they're not just isolated. They're completely isolated.
Oh yeah, that's true.
All caps.
All capitalized.
So it's like, there could be a cool take. I don't know what would the rehab facility. I don't know what that makes it unique about. Like, there's nothing that I can think of, but they're leaning heavily on it with like the needle on the cover and everything of that side. But I just don't see where the angle is to get overly excited about it. But somebody might think it's cool, so
yeah,
thought I'd bring it up.
Horror book.
Yeah.
378 for me.
Okay. I'm good till 400.
Sham Comics. Now, I haven't bought Sham Comics since Dan mentioned it to me a year or two ago, and I really enjoyed it, but I thought, how many of these can I really read and enjoy? But I will be picking up this one. It's called Sham Comics, The Pacemaker. It's a riff off of the Peacemaker, of course, and it looks like it would be hilarious because
heart-stopping tales.
Yes, yeah. Dun-dun-ch.
Oh my.
So it's $4 for 36 pages of where they take, in this case, not Golden Age material, but it's Silver Age material, and they will. Well, I'm surprised that they're able to do it because I thought Peacemaker was a DC property or has the rights, but apparently they're able to do what they normally do and take the art and add their own script and dialogue to it. So we'll see, but that's something I'm going to get.
That I don't know if it is like a character that maybe at some point fell into the public domain briefly, and they can do certain things in public domain. And
true.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Good till 400.
Oh, buddy. I've got a double page. I got two corners. Okay, on page 387, we're in the Tomorrows realm, it looks like. So under back issue 142, it's the Superboy Bronze Age Adventures issue. And it covers everything from the Superboy live action TV series to, it looks like a lot of his Silver Age stuff. So that's back issue 142. And then that's offered again. We already talked about that before, so I'm not going to bring that up.
What about the Don Heck, a work of art?
That is the reason I cornered the other page, the backside of that. Now, as a kid, I used to just cringe when I'd see a George Perez cover and then open up the inside and it'd be Don Heck. I would no. But I've seen earlier works by him from the 60s at Marvel, and it was actually pretty good. So anyway, I don't know that I think I flagged this more to tell that story than to say I'm going to buy this biography. But the real reason looks like I flagged this page is the Team Up Companion, which I know has been solicited before, and I still haven't ordered it. This covers everything from, Marvel's 2-in-1, Marvel Team Up, Brave and the Bold, DC Comics Presents. That looks like a book that that covers all the stuff that I really have loved in comics, group books and team up books. So that's on page 388. And that's all I got for the front of the book.
All right, my last one is on 400 from Whatnot Publishing. And this is Exiled or The Exiled, depending on what page you read it on. It seems like they're a little confused, or it's referred to as The Exiled in the description of it. This is a story written kind of by Wesley Snipes, probably idea by Wesley Snipes, written by the other folks that are listed there, Keith Aram and Adam Lawson. And this is this is our second retired detective story who catches up with a killer, but this is Seven meets Blade Runner, and this is another Blade. Was the other one Blade Runner too?
Was that the Black Cross?
The Black Cloak.
Yeah, Black Cloak. Yeah.
So I don't know, but this is about this detective that's searching for a serial killer who's using mysterious ancient tools to rip the spines out of his victim. So I don't know. It seems like it's just it feels like a very 90s comic kind of vibe going on with that one.
It sounds like a Patrick Swayze Roadhouse, ripping body parts out.
That was just their throats. Come on now. Not this is more Mortal Kombat, and what was it, Scorpion that ripped out the spines?
Oh, that's right. But that's all I've got. Lots of covers for that one. There's even a Blade Runner homage cover for this book.
I think I said with Wesley Snipes on the cover.
Yep.
you think maybe he wants to be in another movie and he's hoping that this gets optioned.
Yeah, this definitely feels like a pilot that didn't get picked up or something that he was like, well, I'll do a proof of concept with a comic maybe.
There you go. Yeah. I've only got a couple of things on side 2. So they're from Iron Studios. I don't know how far. It's a couple of statues. I don't know where that's at in the book. But
I don't even know how you tell.
Yeah, I don't either. So anyway, I'll just mention them. So from you have the Universal Monsters. There's a Dracula Bela Lugosi statue. It's a 10th scale. comes in both a deluxe and standard version, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's also an accessory kit that you can buy with the Dracula Bela Lugosi one that has like a coffin and like some bats and stuff like that. So I guess you can decorate up your Dracula statue. And then
That's on page 57, and I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up at Muddy Monster Comics.
Oh, I think there's a real good chance. Along with, probably also on that page or on the next page,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
there's a Universal Monsters Wolfman that has a deluxe version and a standard version. Now, it does not have the accessory kit that I saw, unless there's one on the catalog that I just missed it.
No.
So anyway, big fans of the Universal Monsters, and they did look pretty cool. So I think the paint job is a little bit more detailed on the deluxe version than it is the standard version. So.
Yeah, and the deluxe end up being like there's more in the scene of it. So like in the Wolfman, the standard edition is just on like the dirt kind of thing, like he's standing, kind of walking. And then the deluxe edition is like he's in a graveyard and there's gravestones around him on the little platform. So the scenery becomes a little bit more complex, I guess. That was the only thing I had marked as well on the side.
Oh, okay. All right. So
I had one thing on the backside as well, and it's on page 45. Have either of you watched Peaky Blinders?
I have not.
No.
Now it's an excellent series. It's sort of a British/Irish gangster. It's like the Untouchables in the early 1900s. Right after World War I, and all of those veterans from World War I, a lot of those, poor gypsies and the Jewish population, they all had their own gangs, but it's a really good show, and they've got a statue here that really took me by surprise. I never thought I'd see a statue of Arthur Shelby, who's one of the stars of Peaky Blinders, and if I just had money just to throw away, I'd spend $160 on it, and just put it on the shelf and see if my wife knows who it is. But
is it a Cillian Murphy statue?
Cillian Murphy is, you mean as the artist or the
Paul
sculptor?
Anderson is the actor.
The character.
Oh, I don't know who
okay.
I don't know.
It's not the Thomas Shelby character. It's the Arthur Shelby.
Yeah, it's Arthur, his brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And Thomas Shelby was the guy that played. The guy that plays him is.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, and he played the Scarecrow in the
Yep.
the Nolan Batman movies. Yeah.
It's really would take you by surprise to find that, because on the spread of 2 pages that this is on, every single other character statue is a Marvel character statue, and then in the corner is the Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, you guys are probably going, what is he looking for on that page there?
All right, so I guess that'd be done. We got through the catalog.
That's it. The book is closed.
All right, so I don't know, Mike, you want to go first? You got an investment pick?
Oh, I've been studying for a couple of days on this, Scott, as you know as I do, and as I always do, and I'm looking at a potential first appearance of one of Raven's siblings who are showing up in Lazarus Planet Legends Reborn #1, the one shot that we talked about earlier. So I have a feeling that there's movie and TV possibilities for these characters. So, I think you should get 5 or 6 copies a piece.
Dad, what about you?
Yeah, we've got another #1 in the Massive Verse, so I've got to flag that as an investment pick, of course. So Inferno Girl Red, book 1, #1, though that's not her first appearance in the Massive Verse. We'll call that an investment pick there.
I am, even though it's only a cover and not a story, that Disney variant, Amazing Spider-Man 17, as long as it's not like a 1 in 100 or whatever, I think people are going to see that and going to go nuts, not even care what is inside the book. They're just going to want that book for the cover. Mm-hmm. So absolutely, I'm buying a few copies of that, as long as it's a, free to order of whatever quantity that you want.
Yeah, I think it's just I don't think it was anything special.
No, I didn't see anything about it being a 1 in 10 or 1 in 25
nope,
or whatever.
Not at all. There's even a Disney 100 black and white variant of it.
That one's probably
might be a 1 in 100 or something.
Yeah, 1 in 100 or something like that. So But we'll see once we actually get around to being able to place an order for that.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So, Mike, what are you looking forward to? What do you want to read out of this month?
I've been debating this, and there's a couple things in the big book I could say that I'm looking forward to, but I think more so than anything is Action Comics number 1051. It's sort of going to be the next status quo for Action Comics, and I may very well be disappointed, but I won't know until I read it. So I'm looking forward to see just how I receive that, and we'll decide whether I keep buying Action Comics after that.
Well, I'm glad I could point that out for you.
Yeah, as usual.
Shad, what about you?
I'm gonna have to go with Darkwing Duck number 1. Just curious what they're gonna do with all this. Though I am also excited about that Children of the Black Sun book. That seems like it might be a pretty neat concept.
For me, part of me wants to say Spy Superb, but I'm actually gonna say Mosley because the idea of getting even with the tech giants, the too big to fail type of a thing. The Custodian, I'm gonna pick up both of those books, but Mosley kind of has me a little bit intrigued. So I'm definitely interested in reading that first book from Boom. I don't know if I've ever said something from Boom is what I'm most interested in a particular month. So we'll just go with that, Mosley.
All right.
All right. So, Shad, what is going to be our next episode?
All right, episode 146. We're going to be covering the She-Hulk series that's on Disney Plus. All 9 episodes, something like that.
7? I'll look it up.
Somewhere in there. All of the episodes, all of season 1, I guess.
All the episodes. Oh.
And then we're going to cover issues 1 through 5 of Public Domain, the Image Chip Zdarsky written and drawn book, right?
Yep.
Double duty on that? Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll be covering both of those on 146.
And you are correct. It is 9 episodes.
Okay. I knew it was a weird number.
Yeah, I thought it was 7, but yeah, I was wrong. There, I'm wrong again. So I'm over my limit.
It doesn't seem like 9. That series kind of went by quickly, which I guess is a good thing.
I think I blocked out episode 9. I think it's part of the reason why. So, yeah. But we'll talk about that next episode. So.
That's right.
All right, Mike, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, where would they do that at?
Me, myself, moi, m.atchison90@gmail.com.
All right. Shad, what about you?
You can find me on Facebook at Shad Schubert. That's SHAADSCHUBERT.
And I'm Scott Reed. You can find me at burgcomics.com, BURG Comics. And I'm going to pay a little bit more attention now moving forward for the next few months to my eBay store and Facebook buy sell trade page, since I don't have any conventions coming up for a little while. I'm going to take the winter months off and just go back to posting stuff online for a little while. So, all right, so that does it for now, and we'll be back soon with another episode.
I did all mine on a plane, so it's just a bunch of dog-eared pages. Not a bunch. I don't have a whole lot either.